Hi everyone, I'm Bee and welcome back to Read and Roam. So I was at the store earlier today picking up some food for my dog, Honeydew, but I also bought her a new dog toy. I know, Honeydew doesn't really need any more toys. At first, I wasn't gonna buy it, but when I looked it up online, the description on the website totally convinced me. Thankfully, Honeydew loves it, but it got me thinking, how did that description convince me? How can writing actually change people's thoughts and actions? Today, we'll explore texts that persuade and learn how authors write a convincing text with their readers in mind. When authors write texts that persuade, they pay close attention to two things: their audience and their language. Let's break down each one. So, what's an audience of a text? The audience refers to the people who will read the text. We know that authors of persuasive texts aren't just sharing their own feelings and opinions, they're also trying to change the reader's mind or actions. Because of that, authors of texts that persuade have to think carefully about their audience, the people they're trying to convince. Think about it. Trying to convince anyone and everyone in one piece of writing would be hard. After all, people come from different backgrounds and care about different things. But if you focus on convincing a specific group of people, it's much easier. For example, imagine you were trying to convince your best friends to stay up and watch movies all night. What would you say? How do you think you could convince them? Now, imagine you were trying to convince a parent or grandparent to stay up and watch movies all night. The way you approached that conversation would probably be a lot different, right? That's why knowing your audience is so important for authors who write to persuade. Knowing the audience is also important as a reader. When you realize that a text was specifically written to persuade someone like you, it helps you think more carefully about whether you agree or not and about what actions you want to take. Let's look at the description I read today that convinced me to buy the dog toy. As we read it, think about the audience this text was most likely written for. Is your small dog bored with ordinary squeaky toys? Then you need the Chubby Deluxe. Handcrafted by a small local business, this mini dog toy is designed with your pet's health in mind. The rope fibers help clean your dog's teeth, while the extra loud squeaky sound encourages them to run and play. Give your furry best friend the exciting toy they deserve. Buy the Chubby Deluxe today at a pet store near you. So, how would you describe the audience of this piece of writing? In other words, what kind of person is the author trying to convince to buy the dog toy? Pause to record your ideas in your guided notes. Based on the ideas the author mentions, it seems like the intended audience of this text is someone who has a small dog and who cares about keeping their dog healthy and entertained. They might also care about supporting a local business by buying the toy. And those descriptions match me pretty well. No wonder this text persuaded me to get the Chubby Deluxe. But knowing your ideal audience is just one part of writing persuasively. Authors also have to consider the language that they use. By language, we mean the words an author uses to make readers think or feel something. Once an author knows the audience they're trying to convince, they can use their language to write in a way that is persuasive. We know that persuasive texts usually encourage you to think or do something and give you reasons why. For example, one reason to buy that dog toy was that it's good for your dog's teeth. It makes sense that an audience would need good reasons to change their mind. But persuasive language can also make you feel strong emotions. Why is that? Well, when we make decisions, how we feel about something is just as important as what we think. Today, for example, I didn't have a strong logical reason to buy Honeydew the toy, but the description made me feel like I should buy it. When I read words like, "give your furry best friend the exciting toy they deserve," it made me feel happy and excited to give it to her. I was like, "Aw, that's so true. She does deserve a new toy." As a reader, keep an eye out for when you feel strong emotions while reading a persuasive text. Emotions are important, but so are the reasons why we do things. When we consider both, we can make sure we respond to persuasive texts thoughtfully. To practice what we've learned today, we'll check out another persuasive text. It's an email I got earlier this week from the Wildlife Rescue asking for donations to help save animals. As we read, think about the audience this text is written for and how it uses language that makes you think and feel. Dear friends, every day we receive emergency calls. Whether it's a bird with a broken wing, an orphaned baby fox, or a whale stranded on the beach, our team is dedicated to saving animals. But we can't do that without your help. Your generous donations will help us save injured and endangered wildlife. They'll also help us educate the community about the importance of preserving nature. Please consider donating. We're so grateful that we can count on kind people like you. Safe Haven Wildlife Rescue. So, what kind of audience is this email trying to convince? I'd say someone who's kind, compassionate, and wants to help animals and nature. A person like that is most likely to donate to a wildlife rescue anyway, so it makes sense that the author would focus on them, and not on an audience who doesn't care as much about animals. Now, let's think about the language the author uses. In your guided notes, describe one reason the author gives and one emotion readers might feel in this persuasive text. Pause to work on this and resume when you're ready. According to the text, one reason why people should donate is to help save wildlife. Another reason is to help educate people. And as for emotions, you might feel sad for the animals or thankful for the people who helped them. The language used in this email definitely convinced me. I'll send a donation their way. As we've seen today, persuasive writing can be very, persuasive. But it's up to us, the readers, to decide how we feel and act about something. Once we know that an author is writing for a specific audience and using specific language, it helps us read more thoughtfully. We can be curious about the reasons and emotions we see instead of just agreeing or disagreeing right away. Keep these ideas in mind as you explore more persuasive texts in your lesson materials. In the meantime, I'm gonna go play with Honeydew and her new toy. And remember, where there are words, there's a world to explore. Until next time.